And let's look at more of what resonated last night. It's always interesting to hear from focus groups. I'm bringing in now Democratic strategist Chris Kofinis. His firm, Park Street Strategists, conducted a focus group during the debate and is unaffiliated with any of the candidates. Chris, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Tamara.
Let's start with the makeup of your focus group, and obviously that's important given South Carolina, given the momentum that Bernie Sanders has with younger voters. Tell us a little bit about this group before we hear what they had to say.
So we had 30 Democratic likely primary voters. We had 14 African Americans, 16 Caucasian. Ages very dispersed between men and women. It was split evenly, 15 and 15. So it was a good reflective group of what is going to be seen on primary day here in South Carolina.
So let's pick up where Steve Kornacki left off regarding the health care debate and Bernie Sanders rolling out his plan. Let me play what the focus group, or at least how they responded to the conversation when Bernie Sanders discussed health care.
He wants to end Medicare, end Medicaid, end the Children's Health Insurance Program. That is nonsense. What a Medicare for All program does is finally provide in this country health care for every man, woman, and child as a right. Now, the truth is that Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry Truman, you know what they believed in? They believed that health care should be available to all of our people. I'm on the committee that wrote the Affordable Care Act. I made the Affordable Care Act, along with Jim Clyburn, a piece of legislation.
So, Chris, we saw a slow move up. What did you hear at that time from the focus group?
Well, it was a consistent pattern really starting from the beginning, and that is, Senator Sanders' message. It's very populist. It really kind of speaks to the economic anxiety that a lot of voters across the country, but in particular here in South Carolina, at least in this group, felt. And when he was talking about health care, and this is one of, I think, some of the challenges that you face in debates, in terms of how voters are going to respond, they're not going to analyze the merits of a policy in a debate. They're responding to the emotion of a message, and Sanders comes in with this big picture vision, and it resonates. It's not to say that Senator Clinton, Secretary Clinton, wasn't effective. The problem is it's hard to compete against that bigger message, bigger vision, if you're more focused on the technical details or pointing at the flaws in another candidate's plan.
Well, you point out what resonated, but when you look at the scoring, even though your focus group believed that Sanders won the debate 27-2 margin, they also, when asked who's more electable in November, they were split with 15 saying Sanders and surprisingly 14 saying Hillary Clinton. Again, it's a small focus group, but when you look at the national numbers of where Hillary Clinton and Senator Sanders stand right now, she leads significantly nationally, but it's a different story state by state.
Yeah, the electability argument really is the major problem that Senator Sanders has. I mean, we've done focus groups in Iowa. The same problem emerges. I mean, I think here's the big challenge. This was one focus group of undecided voters. For him to move a state, in particular where Secretary Clinton has significant historical ties and relationships, is going to require him not only, I think, winning Iowa, not only winning New Hampshire, but really pouring significant resources. The folks in the group, and it was really an interesting reaction, was a lot of them were just surprised because they hadn't heard his message. And even though it connected, it really raised the question that if they haven't heard him, they're not going to be able to move towards him. So that's I think, going to be the real big challenge that Senator Sanders has going forward. It's not going to be an easy haul for him. He did really well last night in the debate, and it was, I think, a significant win for him. But he needs, I think, to do a lot more.
Which is so interesting because when you look at some of the Facebook traffic, social media traffic, he was getting more clicks and people more interested in Bernie Sanders. And that could be for the very reason you explained. They're getting to know his message.
That's right. I think that is, the real opportunity he has to go in here. Now, here's I think what's really interesting. From what the Bernie Sanders campaign said, they raised a significant amount of money. He's got money, which other candidates, when they're going up against someone as formidable as Secretary Clinton, they usually don't. Now the question is, what does he do with it? What kind of message does he start airing and pouring into this state?
All right. Thank you very much, Chris Kofinis.